Marissa, nice to see you guys.
Yeah,
Hey
great to see
Hannah,
you
what's
too, Hannah.
up?
What's up? Um,
Hey.
yeah, come on down. How you guys doing? How's your the start of this Thanksgiving week in your lives?
Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, mostly because I love food. I also like that it's
Really,
generally speaking
I really identify with
non-denominational.
that. Yeah.
Yes, yes. COVID-15 has been real for me. Um, but yeah, I love Thanksgiving because it's about food and bringing people together, and it's non-religious based, which I really like. So this year I am staying home, and I'm not gonna try to replicate Thanksgiving by myself because that's just asking for another 5 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, and that can be, it may or may not be a little depressing. It's definitely a strange year this year for the holidays with COVID and just the challenges of, you know, exposure and interacting and being discouraged from everybody coming together. So
Yeah,
I'm thinking,
I feel kind of I was just gonna say I feel kind of mixed about it. It's like, you know, our family is talking about getting together, but only like half of us. And then today my boyfriend just came home. Uh, he goes into work with a mask, but someone may have been exposed to COVID that he works with. And so it's just, kind of wondering about my plans and not wanting to put people at risk. So it's kind of feels odd.
What were your plans before that?
Marissa?
What were your plans before you
What?
decided that you might be exposed?
Oh, I
Can you hear
mean,
me?
yeah, I can to go over and be with my brother and his family and my mom. So I feel like just have to wait and see what what happens in Josh's office and just make a responsible decision. So it seems like in the past just been more carefree and kind of automatic and now it's just being sensitive on another level. So interesting times for sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
What about you, Hannah?
Well, um, yeah, I mean, I'm experiencing Thanksgiving a couple different ways. Uh, that the actual day of, I'm going to be here in New London with my girlfriend and her parents who recently bought a house here. And they're kind of part of our pod already. So it'll be the four of us. That I have, pre-COVID, I was, operating a restaurant and we're still doing food service and we've been doing prepared meals. So I actually spent the whole day cooking Thanksgiving, getting kind of like prepped. And tomorrow we'll cook and pack. I'm definitely kind of feeling the energy of it because I'm like I think a big part of Thanksgiving is the cooking and providing that like kind of like creating an experience. And so I'm able to do that even if we're gonna like literally the day of is like it's just a small kind of like gathering. And I'm used to a much larger kind of family gathering. But I've noticed that even when our family comes together, I love seeing people, but I'm often kind of disappointed at the how kind of like superficial the conversation can be. And so, I know that part of what we wanted to discuss today is, there's this whole concept of like a gratitude list, and like in the spirit of Thanksgiving, people like often talking about what they're grateful for. And I know that, with this year, a lot of people, whether they're, able to come together with their families in person, most people not, you might like get everybody together on Zoom, or like some kind of like online interface. And, I thought, we kind of thought about this, discussion of like how to kind of like be a leader in hosting like a powerful, real conversation with your family. And I think that it's simpler than a lot of people think. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of like dig into that a little bit.
Yeah, totally. I think also it's in terms of being able to get to a deeper place. I find really an importance in learning about the origins or the history of something. And so for me, this was something that I looked up a few years ago, just trying to understand exactly what Thanksgiving is and what we're coming together to. So I just wanted to touch on that and say that this is a holiday that started in 1621, and it was something that the Pilgrims designed and put together, and it was a 3-day event that had 90 Native Americans and 50 that, that came, and really it was gratitude and thanks for the bounty of harvest that came about from fall, and to to hold reverence for that, and to put out wishes for continued success for the coming season. So uh, it's just I think interesting to think about in our own lives, just what this last year has brought, and where we see we have bounty from, and kind of what evokes that of thanks, coming together, and gratitude.
Yeah. Oh, Ashley, is your mic on? Yeah. Not hearing you.
Yeah, and this is something too that we want to kind of not only touch upon in this call today, but it's something that we want to carry this thread on through the coming weeks in regards to to providing the space for authentic, not only dialogue and meaningful conversation, but also in what ways, as we head into Christmas, how can we reimagine what gift giving looks like? And so that's something that we will be touching upon in our hangout next week, but just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, thanks for kind of bringing it back in terms of the focus of the purpose behind the holiday. One of the things I enjoy about Facebook is when it reminds you of posts that you posted a long time ago on the
For
same
sure.
day, and I've always been the kind of, I don't know, sassy humor,
You? Really?
a little dark. Yeah, it can be a little dark, and and it's just every year it reminds me of this like comic that I posted of about Thanksgiving, where if the Native Americans would have built a wall like our existing the 45th wanted to build a wall, maybe this world would be a better place because the natives would have been able to keep the land and at least a little bit longer. I'm sure something would have happened at some point in time, but it's just it's always been this. It's kind of like the MLK speech, or just like everyone is always like celebrating Thanksgiving and how great it is, but at the same time, this was a moment in time that was like people were trusting other people to feed them and keep them alive. If it wasn't for the Native Americans, the Pilgrims would have never been able to have a feast because they would have all been dead or dying from their own diseases and stuff like that. So I don't mean to get all dark and stuff. I'm just saying that like this is something that I always think about too when I think about the true meaning behind Thanksgiving. People's land. That was the beginning of all the land being taken from the Native Americans. So, I just think about that too. But I think in general, what I wanted to mention was basically talking about what I do, what my family does. So the picture that you saw in the image that's actually my family. That's my family at Thanksgiving 2 years ago. So this is my aunt. Most of my family is in the Detroit area, and this is where we usually have our dinners at. So, the way that my family usually starts Thanksgiving is, all the food is kind of put out buffet style, and then we all agree that dinner's starting. So we all gather on the table and hold hands, and kind of say a prayer, but it's not really a prayer. It's kind of like a gratitude list, but not really a list. It's more like, can you just talk about what you're thankful for, or something that's on your mind, or something that like makes you happy, or something like that. And usually it's stuff about, oh, I'm thankful that I was able to travel, across the country to come here. I'm thankful that whatever family is relative is doing well, or even be like, I miss the relative that used to be here sitting at the table, that's no longer here. So it's usually, but at the end of the day, it's usually like pretty high level, like, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm thankful that I have a job, or I'm thankful that I'm going to school, but and then we pass the buck. And the idea is basically like, say something meaningful, but like don't take too long. You can cry, but like don't cry too long. And then usually my uncle will like say the grace. And lately what we've been doing is calling people in. So we would use the phone, put it on speakerphone for people who couldn't be there, who wanted to be there, kind of thing. But it was a start of gratitude, but it really was super surface level. And I've always been the type of person in my family, on both sides of my family, where I really feel like I want to bring people together more. I want to support each other more. I want to have a better relationship with people. And I feel like the dinner table is like one of the best places to do that. That's when people say you're not allowed to talk about certain things in public. I feel like the one place you should be able to talk about it is Thanksgiving table. But I understand also that not everyone wants to get all deep every time Ashley shows up to the dinner table. So, but I think that rethinking about that conversation that you can have at the dinner table, maybe asking a different question, or taking ownership. So like one of the things I've tried to do in the past was like take ownership of the activity we do after dinner, or yeah, maybe I'll bring up a relatively touchy subject and see how people react. But I think that what we're gonna talk about today is a little bit more of a framework, or a plan to actually head into Thanksgiving with your mind already like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask these questions, and I'm going to try to, be a little bit, help bring the family together a little bit more. And I think that is something that I find passion around. But I also struggle with it. I don't mind being the person that everyone always is like, oh, Ashley always wants to talk about something that makes everyone get angry, or something that makes people want to cry or get it all emotional. But I think it's okay to do that sometimes. Also, I'm a Cancer, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way, and I guess that's like maybe why we're working together, doing Com One, Com All, and I think part of what we're really about, is trying to like have like be real and have real conversations and try to like encourage others around us like bring a little bit more kind of consciousness and heart to their everyday lives. And so I think I totally resonate with what you're saying, that like Thanksgiving is a wonderful opportunity for that. And I know in our family, Marissa and I, share a family. We're twins, right? Like, like not every year, but some years, we might go around the table and say, people might say what they're thankful for. But more often than not, it's like you said, that like the conversation stays a little bit superficial, and it's just kind of like people who are sitting next to one another, kind of chatting, and it's not very often that everybody is kind of paying attention and part of just that one single conversation. And so I love what you said about kind of like taking ownership. And I think what we want to kind of like impart today is that formula and that recipe, to be to take ownership and kind of like be a leader in your family. And I think this is perfect for Zoom. It maybe just as much as it is for actually being at the dinner table, to like realize that you have the power to invite everybody to have a real conversation together. And it's as simple as just saying, you know, hey everybody, this year, like it's been such a challenging year with COVID. Like, I'd love for us to just go around and do a little bit of sharing, and it's really common to share what you're grateful for, what you're thankful for. And I kind of talked about this at the start of like the hangout, is like a lot of people keep a gratitude list, and they, that is, a helpful kind of centering thing in their life. But I've always been really struck by that, and asked myself, well, what are there other types of lists or questions that one might keep regularly that would really inspire, the best you, or like you to do the things that you want to kind of follow through on. And one of them, the answer for me has and that I try to reflect on is like, what is it about, what are the things right now happening in my life that I'm like proud of? Like, and trying to get myself to like do some things that would cultivate a stronger feeling of like pride, which is really about, it is like kind of like, as you said, Ashley, about like that taking ownership and responsibility. Like when you do that and, on behalf of like your family or whatever kind of like larger, thing that you're a part of, like you feel this really healthy type of pride. And so, I just wanted to like throw that in there within kind of like the whole kind of conversation and space of like the gratitude list. Like just a little aside, like I think everybody should be keeping a pride list, you know, but really, just to like stay focused, whether you're sitting around the Thanksgiving dinner table, literally with your family, or if you're on a Zoom, my advice is to like actually think of it as like a type of meeting. Even though you're with your family and it's casual, like take the reins and show up with an agenda, you know? And like I said, it's like, it's as simple as just saying like, you guys, I think we should go around and do some sharing, you know, you know, and like, obviously, you know, what you're grateful for is a good question, but, you know, it's really a conversation, that you get to curate, you know? So, I don't know. I mean, do you guys have any thoughts of like other questions or, you know, things that you would add to, you know, that kind of idea of, you know, how to be that leader and like literally facilitator? Uh-oh, Marissa, did you put your mute on?
Yes. I I do have some questions to add to your list, but I also want to just make a side point that you already addressed, but I just want to emphasize it. And that's that we are still in this COVID stay at home time. And this really is a time where we have been so disrupted, and that it's given us a chance to be outside of our automatic patterns. So, given that we're coming into Thanksgiving, this is an opportunity to further disrupt certain patterns or ways of being that may exist in a family, and for you, for each of us to take responsibility to be the people and the family members that we in our family. So this is a time where we all are, most of us are gathering, and so it's a great time to introduce some different inquiries, and get out of just the automatic what are we. I mean, certainly a great starting point. Similar to what Hannah has already mentioned, just naming the hard or difficult challenges that you've endured this past year. We've all had different losses and different changes that we've been experiencing, and so really having a chance to have real conversation with your family and name those is powerful. And then, what are your intentions for the upcoming year? What do you want to help steward within yourself, or even steward within your community? And have you had anyone that has passed from COVID, and how has that impacted you, or how have you felt the ripples of that impact from others who have passed? And what do you envision for yourself in kind of this next stages, whatever that may be, in the changes that are happening, of what do you want to equip yourself with to be the person that you want to be in the world? And just to ask that around your family, because all of us in one way or another are wrestling with these questions, and so just bringing them to the surface is really can bring about deeper and more authentic dialogue.
Yeah, I think one of the fantasies I had one year, it was either during Thanksgiving or Christmas, was that I had gotten super excited about how, um, if we combine all of our skills, we could be this amazing family business where we would be super successful. We have the this cousin over here who's got that skill, cousin over there who's got that skill, and like everyone just laughed at me, which is fine, but it's also sad. But at the same time, I feel like I struggle to find that method of finding support from your family, and I think that coming to the dinner table with like a question, that would, it kind of opens the door a little bit to what you're thinking and what you might have in mind. So like, starting out with a positive, like what have you accomplished this year that makes you feel proud? Like if everyone could say that, that's pretty. I mean, that's not a question I hear a lot of, especially during COVID. It's like proud of, like, oh, but that's a way of people giving space to the idea that, like, hey, we made it this far, like this is an accomplishment. Like, what do you have to be proud of? That could be helpful. Also thinking about maybe in a less positive way, but like, where are you struggling right now, and what are ways that the people at the table or the people on the Zoom call could help you? Like, it's kind of like you said, starting a business meeting. You come to a meeting and you say, here's what I did, here's what I'm gonna be doing, and then here's what I need from you, kind of thing. And I think that that's a very good way of thinking about the Thanksgiving table sometimes. It's like, here's what I've done. I'm so proud of myself for making it through X. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm excited about in 2021. Like, what are you actually excited about? And then, is there any way that anyone at the table can help you? Like, that's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, the other aspect of this that I find really motivating is just like being a strong kind of like role model for the next generation. That is like often present in families. You got like little kids running around, and like having a real conversation and doing real sharing, like it doesn't it doesn't just happen in most families. It certainly didn't happen in our family growing up, but Marissa and I have tried to have some of these conversations, and now there's an expectation from our nieces, that conversation just happens. Like it like normalizes for them. Like I remember, when our father passed away last year, and our one of our niece was like, everybody's kind of came for like an open house before the funeral, and she was like, we're gonna circle up and talk and share, because that's what she understood we do. So that was just like so affirming to me. And another thing that I wanted to include and like really kind of bring to light, is as a good, showing up with kind of like an agenda and taking leadership and ownership. Like you're architecting something, you're designing something, and you want to design for this like real inclusive conversation that brings everyone together. So try to avoid things that are divisive, like politics, right? Which is like probably what half of like the room may be talking about anyways. It's like, try to transcend those things and ask these questions that just get people talking about who they are, how they're doing, and then that stuff that can kind of like cause the drama and pull people apart tends to fall by the wayside, and so just be really, be mindful of that, And I don't know, do you guys have any other kind of like tips when you're thinking about hosting something, like being this kind of leader in the family?
I would say that if you're going to do it, one of the things that could help is to kind of set the stage, like to kind of set the ground rules, because I know that my family, there's different people who like to talk over other people, and there's like nothing you could do about it. That's just how they are. And so I feel like maybe just saying, "Hey, I have a suggestion, something new. It's 2020. Let's do something different." And then just being like, even if you had like, I'm trying to find something that's appropriate to grab. Even if you had like
What does
A
that mean,
small
actually?
thing.
Love it.
A small thing that you could pass around like a baton and
Just
say,
little
let's go
talking
around the
sticks.
room and everyone take a turn, and they have the stage, so that Uncle Jim, who doesn't know how to shut his mouth, he's already drunk, whatever. uh Uncle Jim, everyone can yell at Uncle Jim, be like,
Yeah,
Uncle
let's talk
Jim,
about Uncle Jim's drinking problem.
you
Yeah.
don't have the speaker right now, okay? You cannot speak. um I think that would help, especially for the people who don't usually get to have a voice at the dinner table, and like think about those people too. It might even be you, you might be the person who doesn't normally speak that much at the dinner table, but if you come prepared, um, you'd be surprised what happens. And then maybe it becomes a family tradition.
Yeah, love it. I mean,
I,
that's
and I would also add another means in which to have powerful, meaningful conversations along the lines of what Hannah and Ashley have already imparted is to think about what your goals are leading into the evening, and just to sit down and meditate or take a walk outside, something that is grounding and calming for you, that gets you in the right mental and head and body space to show up in the way that you want to show up. And even you can even image how you would like the evening to go, and and maybe you have something that you bring with you that, like a stone in your pocket, just gives you a of calm that you can also feel, and that reminds you of, oh yeah, let me try and bring about a meaningful dialogue. This let's, the conversation seems to be getting off course. Let's try and bring it back to something meaningful. So it's certainly a dance. It's like facilitating a meeting, similar to what Hannah and what's yourself in it, and to be relaxed and calm, but to hold kind of the highest good for everyone and for the event itself, so that you can really help steward what is wanting to be stewarded.
yeah, and it like I don't. It's like it just it feels really good, when that does happen. You just kind of like you feel part of that something larger than yourself. You know, uh, and I can't like kind of like overemphasize like how accessible that kind of power is, and like most people don't realize that like it's just it takes having like the consciousness, the intention, and a little bit of courage to be like, hey, you guys, I'm like, let's do some sharing. I'm gonna like let's just go around and like take turns answering a couple questions about how has your year been, with this like kind of COVID, and like we may all be kind of talking about it, but just to one another, and let's just all be present as a group. And that's just like that's just magical. So um yeah, I love this topic. I love this opportunity. I feel inspired. So and I want to remind everybody that if you're looking for additional inspiration or resources to kind of like get grounded, like please head over to calm1calmall.com and check out our resources page. Sign up for one of our circles that happens usually on Thursday night, not this week because of Thanksgiving. But we're really, passionate about creating space and sharing resources for people to become more grounded, you know, because, you know, there's a ripple effect that's great for your life. But if you can also, if you can do that, then you kind of like become a leader in the world around you. And there's like a kind of a, you know, you set energy that tends to kind of like ripple. Um, so you know, it's really fun hanging out with you guys and talking about this topic.
Yeah, this reminds me of that one time I came to Thanksgiving and told everyone that I was going to only buy black gifts for Christmas. So gifts that I either bought at black owned stores or that were created by black people. And it created this like tension because I was very well meaning when I had mentioned it, but for some reason, someone in my family thought it was a good idea to kind of tease me about it, which was kind of frustrating. Um, they meant it, I guess, in a good way, but at the time, I was just frustrated. And I think that what I was really trying to do at that time was to give gifts that were more meaningful, like something that actually had like a reasoning behind it, or like maybe an intention or a specific statement I was trying to make, which is, I guess, it's not. I don't think it's selfish, but I think I was trying to do the right thing, and so I think that thinking about after right after Thanksgiving is Black Friday, and right after that is Small Business Saturday, and right after that is Cyber Monday, and oh my goodness, thinking about how we can kind of continue that connection with the family in a different way could be something that we might be thinking about trying to do, especially during gift giving season. I know last year I was really into giving experiences and like not just gifts, but like let's go. I'll pay for us to go, to go do the escape room or something like that. So talking about what those type of opportunities may be and how we could maybe reimagine the whole gift giving season, especially during COVID. That's something that we want to talk about next week at our hangout, as we kind of enter the consumer season of the year, which should be interesting.
Yeah, and I just want to say that it makes me think about, for all of us, for each of us individually, each of these instances are opportunities for us to think about who is it that we want to be in the world? How is it that we want to show up? Where do we want to put our money? And where do we want to help steward conversation and dialogue and authenticity? And so all of us are responsible and for that. And we have the ability to really be change agents out in the world and within our family unit. So this is I think it has been a great conversation, and I hope evoked some inspiration for people and kind of has given everyone something to think about and over as we start to really head into the holidays. I can't believe it's already here.
Yeah, I know a lot of
Thank
people are
God.
looking forward to 2021, like as if that's really
Yeah.
going to like great, we made it. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, that's actually not how it works. But there is
Yeah,
some energy
cheers to
behind that.
that.
Yeah, there is, like if you wanna believe that, maybe that could be helpful. But like as Marissa's saying, it's like it's really about how you show up, and about kind of like taking ownership. And so, that is that's where we all with Kamo and Kamal kind of geek out together. And we're not not trying to pretend that we're experts all the time, but it's something that these are subject matters that we're passionate about and study and practice, and so you know, while we're doing that, we might as well open source it, and try to, you know, magnify, you know, that goodness, because it's like, it's, you know, it's part of what the world needs as we kind of like transition. So definitely looking forward to, the hangouts coming up. I know that we're going to have, some guests as part of that. Uh, so yeah, happy Thanksgiving, you guys. I hope that you have a lovely, you know, celebration, whatever it is that you are doing.
I should do
Yeah,
something.
for
I
sure.
was in the frozen food section today and I was looking at those sad vegetarian like tubes that they sell you that are like supposed to taste like gravy and mushrooms or something, and I couldn't bring myself to buy one, but
Yeah, yeah, that
I
doesn't
was
sound
close.
appetizing. Yeah,
Just
I mean,
because I
can
don't
you?
want to like I want to do something different, but I don't want to like I already tried cooking a whole chicken last month and it didn't really turn out so well, and I don't know if I'm ready for a turkey quite yet.
Yeah, that's turkeys are huge. Yeah, I wonder
We'll see.
is there just like a you know, like what I'm doing? Is there like a restaurant in your area that you like that, you could, you know, that's putting on a Thanksgiving
I
dinner?
should look into that. That would be the best bet because then I would feel a lot less stressed, but also I could be supporting a local business, which is
Exactly.
something I've really been trying to do like consciously. Like the other day, I really wanted to go to Popeyes because there's something
Our
about
mom
Popeyes
loves
so bad.
Popeyes.
And then, well, only the chicken sandwich,
I'm
only the
in.
chicken sandwich. But
Yeah,
yeah, but I
cool.
decided to. I bought my chicken sandwich from a local place instead, and it was tasty. It was delicious. It wasn't Popeyes, but it was satisfying. But I felt good inside because I was like, you know, I want this business to be here when COVID's done, even if it costs me an extra $8 or $6.
Yeah,
But it's fine.
yeah. No,
Nice.
that sounds about right.
So yeah, I'll
Well,
look into
happy
that. Good
Thanksgiving,
suggestion.
everyone.
Yeah, nice. Cool. All right, I'm gonna kick us out. All right. Hope
Sounds
you guys have
good.
a nice week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Sounds good.